Recorded live in front of a virtual studio audience. And coming to you from the Full Sail University campus in sunny Winter Park, Florida, it's the Media Communications BS Hour. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, Jason.
Hey.
Hey, Jason.
Hey. Look at all the hays. Hay is for horses and Jason. Well, joining us on this thrilling journey into the heart of the media communications industry, the illustrious faculty of the Media Communications Bachelors of Science program at Full Sail University. What an amazing group of people. You should have seen the magic. Oh, there was just crazy stuff happening before the radio show started. At one point, there was a fire, but then it was put out. So to do our introductions, I'm going to throw it down, as always, to start us off with our very own Emily Ray.
Woot woot. I don't know what I did to always deserve this first spot, but, I am always happy to get just the star treatment and attention. So thank you. Happy to be here again for the MCBS Hour, and would like to say hi to Lisa Smith.
Well, hello there, Emily Ray, and hello, everyone. Great to be here for another week of MCBS Radio. And on to Janelle.
Hey everybody, this is Janelle, the course director for project management, and I am so excited to be here as well. And on to Pete.
Thank you, Janelle. It is another banner, beautiful fall day here in Central Florida, and it's so wonderful to be with everybody. And I am going to pass it on now to Robert.
Thank you, Pete. Welcome everyone to the MCBS Radio Hour. Looking very forward to exciting hour with Jason and everybody in the team. Back to you, Jason.
Thank you. And it is going to be an incredibly exciting hour. If you're at home right now, in fact, and you're in a chair, a nice comfortable chair, you may want to strap yourself in, because that's the kind of hour that we're looking at here. And, with that kind of a promise, let me just jump directly into today's lineup. We are going to touch on media and the news and take a look at a viral marketing campaign for an upcoming movie. Woo! Then we're going to move on to I Can't Believe It's Someone's Job. That's going to be kind of exciting, and I won't even give you a hint about what we're going to cover there. But then we're going to get Kathy's Corner. And of course we're going to... Then we're going to follow that up with hashtag social media savvy with Janelle.
Woo woo!
And of course, Tool Time brought to you by Episcopo Tools. And we're going to wrap it all up with MCBS Pulse. But in addition to wrapping it up with the MCBS Pulse, we're going to start off with last week's MCBS Pulse. At the end of our last show, we asked the listeners and anybody that listened to the archive later what they thought about the most important technological advances in history as far as media and communications go. So, with all the choices that they had and an other button, we had the vast majority of the people say that it was the internet that was the most important. No,
That's a
fine.
sound effect, people. That is...
Yep.
that is purposeful.
That's actually what it sounded like the
sound of
first
the
time they
internet.
transmitted radio sounds. So you're hearing history right there. As we're experiencing the history of radio in an audio fashion, I can also tell you that a lot of people thought that the radio itself, in fact, more people thought radio than anything else if you don't count the internet. So invention of the internet seemed to be the most important, then radio, and we had one person with Phoenician alphabet. But I got to tell you, just like it said at the MCBS Pulse, for those of you that went and filled out the questionnaire, there's certainly not a right answer here. We were looking more for big, broad, a reason basically to have you tell us why you thought that. And of all the entries that we got, I selected a few that I thought were really good. I love the Phoenician alphabet answer, so I'll start with that one. They said this was a toughie. I had to say the first, that the Phoenician alphabet was the most important. Even though there were some other important things. Without papyrus, what would you be writing that Phoenician alphabet on? And without paper coming after that, what would you write it on? So there's a lot of reasons why Phoenician alphabet might not be the best fit, but as far as having broad-reaching implications, think about spreading language without having a written version of it. That would be very, very difficult. We probably wouldn't have made it to radio or internet. However, I do need to say that if there was a right answer, internet might be getting very close to it, and it's not because of anything other than the quantity of people on Earth right now and how you connect that many people. And the internet adds a social depth, which Lisa was talking about. It adds a depth of social interaction that's not just the media being shared, it's then also being reacted to. So it's a much deeper interaction. So many different correct answers, and so many great ways to look at all of the different technological advances on this long timeline. And we really enjoyed having your input.
Jason, I want to give you kudos. That was a great question.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's also just to preface anything or preview for anybody that's in the Core 4 right now or that's thinking of coming and taking classes in our program. I get to have a small little history of media communications component in my course, which I love, absolutely love it. And one of the things that we talk about primarily is that you might hear Alexander Graham Bell invented this and Edison invented that. But the reality is that each of those people is standing on the shoulders of somebody before them, because you don't just suddenly out of nowhere invent a telephone. There were 15 or 20 different things that came. I know, right? There were 15 or 20 different things that came before that led up to that bigger invention. So to put a name to it is really kind of challenging, but it's a lot of fun to talk about, and that's part of the fun when you make it to MCT. All right.
Yeah. I just wanted to say also that I was reminded when I looked at the question of the game Civilization, that probably several people have played, that where it kind of follows the chain of technological development, and you see how like the Phoenician alphabet itself is in the chain to developing the internet within your civilization. So it's hard to pick just one because it's sort of you don't have one without the others having existed.
Absolutely. And what a great game. What a spectacular game. I love that's why games are so cool, because basically they're like simulations. And a game like Civilization, you get to simulate the growth of a civilization over and over and see what components are important, what happens if you leave them out. Yeah, absolutely. And that takes us to our next installment of Media in the News. I hope you guys are excited about the amazing Spider-Man 2 movie coming out, because, man, it's out. It's going to be so soon. It's coming out in May of 2014. Mark it on your calendars now. It's less than a year away. But even though this movie is coming out way down the road, the people that they're in post-production right now, the people that made this movie, they did all the filming. They're now taking those shots that they took in the green room and out on various locations, and they're adding all the digital components and piecing them together and working on the audio. And they're going to continue doing that for a while until it's a complete product. And they know that there are diehard Spider-Man fans that are going to come watch this movie no matter what. Nothing could stop them. They're going to be there. They also know there's people that kind of like Spider-Man, or maybe they just like superhero movies, and they're going to go. So they already know they've got some locked-in cash. So what they're doing now is trying to go and excite all the people that maybe weren't planning on being fanatical fans of Spider-Man. And the way they're doing that is they're launching a viral marketing campaign that's really kind of exciting. And much like the one that we talked about several weeks ago for Girl on Fire, is that the next movie? Am I right?
You are
in the
right.
Hunger Games series? Thank you. In the same way that they're blurring the lines of reality.
It's Catching Fire. It's Catching Fire.
Catching
Girl,
Fire. Yeah, Catching.
Girl on Fire, Jason, is an Alicia Keys song. So it's probably what
Alicia
you're
Keys.
thinking of, you know.
Is that one of our students?
Yes.
Okay.
I think
I think so, yeah.
She's at least listening to the show.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got Girl on Fire. Yeah, I see my mistake now. Not the song, but the movie itself. In the same way that movie blurred the lines of reality and the movie itself by putting up billboards that advertise things that only exist in that movie's universe. Spider-Man 2 is doing the same thing, and they started out really kind of simple. And there are many other giant West Coast transmedia style projects that do start off in the same way. They're using Tumblr. I always pictured Tumblr as something that my daughters used and something that kids used. But Tumblr is gaining a lot of momentum with, well, like most social media, it inserts itself into the population at one demographic, and then it spreads out. And Tumblr has done a really good job of spreading out within the different demographics that surround the one where it started. So it's not just for tweens anymore and teens. It's now being used seriously by a lot of different people. And the way that it's being used for this campaign, for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 campaign, is they've got a newspaper, the Daily Planet, and they're printing it in Tumblr. So if you want to start reading the news that leads up to the Spider-Man 2 movie, which is still 9 months away, you can keep up with all of the news that would be happening by reading the Daily Planet, which they're posting on Tumblr. Now, that's just one aspect. Obviously, it's going to branch out from there, and they're going to use different forms of media. But I love the fact that there is one place that fanatical fans can go and begin to share their love of something. Because we talk often in this program about how viral marketing works and viral videos work. And just like a virus, when you share it with somebody, they share it with somebody else until your whole office is sick with the cold or the flu. In viral marketing, something is so amazing that you share it with your friend, and they can't believe it, so they share it with their friend until the whole office is excited about something. And you see this happening if a marketing team is able to capture somebody's attention or an audience's attention enough, they're able to take that and share it with all of their friends and family. And I was going to pose this question to the group, because I know there's a lot of examples out there. But what are some other examples of viral marketing campaigns that make it so that you're not just reaching the fanatics that already exist, but you're creating new fanatics with the content that you put out there? And anybody out there, feel free just to jump right in, or if there's a comment on the chat that I can't see, feel free to share that on their behalf.
We had a great example, I thought, that we talked about last month with Hunger Games and with the new one, and how they created billboards that were actually relevant to the movie and things that, I don't know if you probably can't pull that up right now, some of the images, but it looked like maybe a perfume bottle that said Coco Chanel, when in fact it actually had something to do with the Capitol. And so it was little inside jokes, but they were, incorporated into the real world, so people that may or may not have known what it was, are automatically intrigued by it. So that was pretty cool. And Atticus says that they did it with Southland Tales. So I don't know if anybody knows a little bit more about that, or if Atticus, I don't know if you have a microphone.
Yeah, if we could get Atticus to tell us, that would be ideal. Plus, he would get a free imaginary MCBS t-shirt fake mailed to him.
He said it was a comic series. I don't think he has a microphone. Elaborate, Atticus. Oh, Lisa remembers it. Lisa, do you want to chime in then? No?
Yeah, it was a comic series.
What did they do? I guess they did something unique.
Thanks for elaborating exactly what you put in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently they did some pretty cool marketing as well. I can't find it online, but
Actually, Kathy Craven, our program director, brought up something about Game of Thrones, where and Kathy, you can I guess chime in on this one, but
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
it's where they showed up in different cities and had trucks that were feeding foods that were related to Game of Thrones, and so people that weren't even watching the series were able to still come and eat and start to converse about it, and it was sort of a really cool transmedia way to connect with non-viewers of the show. So I hope I accurately depicted that.
Yeah, that's right, Pete. There was a production company that HBO hired and they launched a campaign 5 weeks before the show aired, and they were concerned. HBO was concerned because the series, if they just depended on readers of the series, their audience might have been smaller. Hang on, I'm getting tech help here. Okay, thanks. If they had just depended, HBO hired the production company to do a transmedia campaign that launched 5 weeks before the show aired. But HBO's concern was that, and the reason they did the transmedia campaign is because if they had just depended upon readers and fans of this book series, they were concerned their audience would be smaller. And so they wanted to interest readers and already current fans, but also start to kind of educate and excite folks who might not be familiar with it, and let them, by the time the show aired, feel like they were a part of it. So Pete's talking about a food truck campaign, which was that last week before the show aired, in which there were food trucks in Los Angeles and in New York, and they sent the word out through a network of social media, and so that's how you found the trucks when you got there. It was kind of like a fun convention party atmosphere all about the Game of Thrones, and then you could get free food truck food that was the kind of food that you would eat on the show. So and then you went to the website and you found the videos of the chef preparing the food, the master chef that prepared the food, showing you how to make it so that you could host your own Game of Thrones premiere party. So yeah, definitely lots of aspects to that campaign. Thanks for bringing that up, Pete.
Do I remember you sharing the results of that? Weren't there some
yeah, there was
amazing
I think
numbers that went along?
something like 2.2 million people that ended up tuning in that first night. And you know, depending on the show, that may or may not sound like a lot, but it was quite a bit, especially because there could have been a lot of viewers who really didn't have much previous knowledge about this book series, and so it was very successful. Now I think they're up to like 10 million per episode viewers. So they drummed up this excitement around the show for 5 weeks in a variety of media outlets. I could go on and on, but I won't, Jason. Not your fear, no worries.
And that's what's so astounding about this is they had X number of people that were already diehard fanatics of this story, and they were not going to miss the opening, but they just used those people's love of the story, and they did stuff to excite those people so much that they went and they spread it around like an infection. They made sure that everybody knew this is starting. You've got to see that. I got to tell you, me personally, if a food truck hands me free food and says this is based on a show that's going to come out, I'm going to watch the show. I think it's just a great way to captivate people there. All right. We could go on and on about viral marketing and transmedia, but instead, we're going to leap forward to the next segment, the segment called I Can't Believe This Is Someone's Job. This week's installment of I Can't Believe This Is Someone's Job is going to be brought to us by Lisa Smith, and she'll be talking about Freaks and Geeks 2.0. Would you take a look at those famous people? What an incredible cast. I think each of those people is now a billionaire, aren't they? With their own shows?
Well, Seth Rogen for sure. And who was it? James Franco. Yeah, there were so many stars.
James Franco.
But and some that were.
Jason Segel, is that his name? He's on
How I Met
that
Your Mother.
popular TV show.
Right.
So, of course, Freaks and Geeks aired in '99. It only lasted one season. It was one of these iconic series that died before their time, like Firefly and My So-Called Life and so many others. But and I'm a huge fan. I was, because there's it depicted kind of the time period that I grew up in the 80s. But why we're talking about this now is that the Fine brothers have created an interactive game based on the Freaks and Geeks series. It's completely independent of the actual series, but they created a set of videos that are hosted on YouTube, and simply using YouTube's capabilities to include hyperlinks within a video have made it into a sort of choose-your-own-adventure story. So that you watch a video clip, and they'd use kind of 8-bit animation style graphics for these videos depicting the storyline of the first season of the series, which is the only season of the series. But you get to decide what the characters will do. So you can either play the sister, Lindsay, or Sam, who's the geeky boy. So far, they've only done the girls' side of it. But it's really clever that you get to these decision points, and then it's kind of like the old choose-your-own-adventure books. You see the consequences, and you can change the storyline. I thought this was really innovative use of that technology in a way that it really wasn't intended to be used, that allows for a interesting transmedia crossover into a totally different form of media from the original series. And they've also done something similar to this with one of the Twilight films, I believe. These guys, the Fine brothers, who you may not have heard of by name, but you've probably seen some of their work, I would consider them some of the iconic type of people we need to hold up for our MCBS students, because they have used YouTube to pretty much make a living creating these viral videos. They are responsible for the reaction videos. Kids react to watching the Harlem Shake or what have you. Teens react to Twilight, those kind of things. That's where they got their start. Now they're making these interactive games, which I think were incredibly clever.
Yeah, it was really cool, Lisa. I checked out the link when you sent it around earlier this week as a fan of the show and just kind of a fan of innovative uses of technology. We're getting to that point in the afternoon when the blood sugar is like dipping. Every day here around 3 o'clock we have a raisinette party where we pass around like chocolate. So we're definitely headed towards that time of day. But anyways, I checked out the link and I played it, and I enjoyed the experience of doing it and how it followed the basic storyline of Freaks and Geeks. But one thing that I was kind of disappointed about, and I wondered, if it would be developed further, and it was just at this point now, is that like if you kind of chose an alternate path through it, if it wasn't sort of the path that the storyline followed, it ended your game. So there was no further development of alternate storylines. I thought it would have been cool, like if you could if they kind of let it flow a little bit more into other possibilities beyond just what was scripted for the show.
Yeah, I think they have a total of 15 videos, including all the different branches, which is, if you think about it, not really a lot. I think, if you consider how many possibilities there could be. But I think as a concept, this has a lot of potential.
Absolutely.
To really be expanded on. Would make a great portfolio project.
Yeah, for anybody who's listening.
I wonder if there's some chance that this is their initial release and we can expect another 10 videos a month or something like that to make the story broader.
They are planning on doing this. I know that they're planning to do Sam's side of the series, which is the brother, the younger brother. So that would be the Geeks side of the title. So I'll be looking forward to that. Probably a lot of Dungeons and Dragons action going on in there.
Well, that's really cool. Maybe they'll have you get a 12-sided die, and at the end of the video, you'll have to roll it and choose whichever number you get. What? No D&D players in the house?
Cricket. Right on the table.
12-sided die. Okay, all right. Freaks and geeks, everybody. Yeah, no, I think that was a really, really, really cool thing, and I do expect to see more of it. In fact, Lisa, when you mentioned Firefly, I would have probably just called in sick one day last week and gone through the entire Firefly Choose Your Own Adventure. I would love to have access to something like that. I think it's a spectacular way to bring back something that people love, especially these cult classics that have a really rabid fan base already, and give them the material again in another way. Let them enjoy it again, which is what you and Emily have done already this week. So thank you very much for that. And that brings us to Kathy's Corner, the spinning cube of happiness.
Whoa, what an answer.
Yeah.
Love it. Hey, guys. Hey, Ian is catching on. Ack, it's Kathy. It's spreading the campus like wildfire. Anyway, it's great to be with you guys again today. And as always, this is definitely, I was telling the team, Wednesdays are my favorite day because we as a faculty team get together every Wednesday and eat our lunch together and have a meeting and check in. It's a lot of fun. Really, in real life, I know we seem like superstars, but we're real people. And in real life, we are colleagues and friends and have a lot of fun together, and it's actually every bit as much fun as it sounds like on the radio. Can you believe that? We are not acting. We really do enjoy each other. So it's great to be here, and just wanted to give you a little quick, my corner is kind of about, hey, we've talked about a lot of things out there in the media world, but what's going on in MCBS? I wanted to kind of throw out there for you a term called blended community. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is that Jason Gillette, our host of the MCBS, Media Communications BS Hour, is launching the first media communications program course on campus. So I think most of you are probably online students, but we have a campus version as well. So he's going to be launching that next month. And what we're really excited about is we're going to be doing some very innovative things that are Full Sail's innovative on the way, cutting edge anyway, but we're going to go even a few steps beyond that and pull together what we call blended community, which means that if you are a campus student, you will get to interact with online students, and online students, you'll get to interact with campus students. And this is really important because if you're a campus student and all you ever do is just things that have to do with in class, and we don't get out there and interact with the rest of the world, you're not going to get to experience that kind of media strategist, transmedia kind of possibilities that there are. So just like we talked about the game, or HBO used the production company to reach a wide variety of people. We didn't get into a lot of details of it, but trust me, they did. But they couldn't have done that unless they used tools that reach a big audience. So we want our campus students to be able to interact with you online students and vice versa. So blended community will be, what is that going to look like? That's going to look like you'll be interacting in the radio show with them sometimes. You'll be interacting in go-to training. You might be doing collaborative projects with each other. You might be presenting to each other. Online students might come into class virtually, and so it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really excited about it, and I have a lot of faith in Jason, who's going to kick that off with a lot of really cool activities for campus and online students. Jason, I hate to put you on the spot, but can you just give us a sneak peek of anything that you're going to do to pull that to get to manifest blended community next month?
Well, there's certainly a list I could pick from, and I'll just talk about the thing that I was editing right before the show, and that was one of the weekly assignments. At the end of each week, we have something in my class called, or in most of our MCBS classes, called a job simulation project. It's a project, but you are creating something that you might create when you are actually employed after you graduate. Most of these are group projects that require between 3 and 6 people, depending on the project. And I've been developing a Google Doc, which is an interactive document for anybody that has access to the internet, which should be all of you, to come together and form teams that are mixed teams. So you won't have a group that's entirely campus students or a team that's entirely online students. You'll have a blended community of students working on that project. And the reason that's so crucial is because when you finally get your job in the media communications industry at some point, you're probably not going to be just working with a room full of people. You'll probably be working with several people that you talk to live, but you're going to be bringing in experts and asset creators and experts of every type, in fact, coming from across the globe. Your project team might include somebody in San Francisco and Spain and 5 people from Colorado. You just never know. And so the reason we're setting the projects up this way is so that our graduates, as they go out into the workforce, already have a ton of experience of these types of projects, which is really what projects look like this day and age.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks for letting me put you on the spot. Isn't he awesome? He's just so fabulous. Let's hear some applause. Yes, yes. And the crowds go wild. Yeah, it's going to be a really fantastic. Wow, the applause just goes on and on.
I'll get tired of that
really
someday.
going to be. You're used to that, though, aren't you, Jason? It's really going to be a fantastic experience, and really one that I don't think you're going to get on many other campuses around the country. So I'm very, very excited about what's in store. So that's it for me this week. Thanks, guys. And as always, get in touch with me if I can help in any way.
All right. That was Kathy's Corner, and thank you very much, Kathy Craven.
Sure thing.
And that brings us to our next segment, hashtag Be Social Media Savvy with Janelle.
With me!
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So, every week we've been somewhere or another talking about Twitter, so I promised that I was not going to do that this week. So we're going to talk about Pinterest, because we all know that Facebook is the #1 social media site that everybody's kind of registered with or signed up with. They have over 1 billion users. So when it comes to driving traffic to other sites, clearly we go on Facebook and we check out different news links or images or things like that that may take us outside of Facebook. That Facebook is the #1 social media with 10% of overall traffic going to publishers. So they obviously dominate. But the second one that people don't expect is Pinterest. They actually have more than Twitter, LinkedIn, and Reddit combined. And as
Whoa.
Jason's a huge fan of Reddit, I mean, they're a very strong community, and the majority of the things they have there are stories or links or different things. But Pinterest has really blown them out of the water. And LinkedIn as well. I don't know if many of you guys are on LinkedIn, but we will talk about that eventually, because if you're not, you should be, at least as a professional. But anyways, back to Pinterest. It's pretty cool because they just hit, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but 3.68% of the traffic Pinterest drove to publishers in September, which was the second highest of all the social networks. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because Pinterest, I was literally just sharing this a few days before I saw this article posted, because when I'm on Pinterest, I am a Pinterest obsessed person. I rather be on Pinterest than Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn combined. I really love Pinterest. And for you guys that don't know what it is, it's basically a digital pin board. You pin things that you want, things that you may never have, things that you'd like to dream about. Most of the things that people pin are, DIYs, which are do-it-yourself kind of projects, or crafting, or furniture, or, walk-in closets that you'll never have but you like to dream about. So it's, it's amazing pin board. And unfortunately, guys are scared to cross over into Pinterest. I don't know if you guys want to chime in, Atticus, Ian, or James, do you guys have a Pinterest account? Just curious.
Don't let the cursive scare you.
Yeah. Okay. So anyways, at this time, there's 80% of women that are on Pinterest. So only a mere 20% of men are on Pinterest. But they really, just with that, they really drive the social media traffic trends. And that's pretty cool because if you go onto Pinterest, anything that you may like, you can click on, that typically will take you to an outside blog or maybe an Etsy account or an eBay, link or something else. And it's typically to get you to purchase without being in your face about it. So Pinterest is pretty awesome like that. And on that note, I want to share with you guys. I'm sorry, anybody want to chime in? You're on it, Atticus?
This is Ian.
Hey, Ian.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's working. I'm sorry. I was outside. I couldn't respond. I was listening. I do have a Pinterest account. I used it to find my tattoo artist in Utica.
That is awesome. Okay, cool. So do you like Pinterest?
I mean, I liked it. I got involved with it a little bit on my iPad and messed around with it a little bit. I found a lot of really interesting stuff. I like, I use Stumble Upon myself is my favorite.
I do like Stumble Upon too, yeah.
And so that's kind of crossed me over into Pinterest. So I did download it and use the app on occasion. But I wouldn't say I'm very Pinterest savvy.
Well, but it's interesting that you said that you got into Pinterest through Stumble Upon, and it's really cool because I've actually gone to Stumble Upon and found out about it through a Pinterest pin that I tagged, and I was curious about it, and it's typically funny things. So I went through it and I found Stumble Upon. So yeah, and Atticus is talking about how he uses it for cooking, finds activities to do with kids. That's another thing that it's really great for, and it actually says that over 50% of the users on Pinterest have children. So I mean, it's just got so many cool ways to use it, and it's not just for women. I know that a lot of guys are scared about it. My husband just signed up for it reluctantly, and he didn't want anybody to know about it. And turns out if you sign up with your Facebook, it alerts all of your Facebook friends that you're on Pinterest. So I thought that was pretty funny. But there's a lot of yeah, exactly. Atticus, he found it because of his wife. And that's typically how it is. I found out about it, 2 months into it starting because a friend said, you just need to get onto it. So, and Isabel said that our career development department encourages graduates to have a Pinterest account. And on that note, I did want to share, we have a Pinterest account for our page, and it's right here. Here's a screenshot of it. It's our MCBS Full Sail page. So for you guys that do have Pinterest, I encourage you guys to like it. I typically try to post new tools, new apps. You'll see the yes part is like, yes, we agree, like really cool quotes or different things that have to do with technology or, just humorous things that have to do with social media or with media tools in general, articles. So trying to thanks for following it, Atticus. We really just started building it up, this week. So I'm going to continue finding things, and obviously it won't be girly infested. I mean, I have completely different things on my boards personally, but this will be a really cool way to be able to repin things that you guys want to find later, or, similar to Digo, but at least here it's more visual because you get a little snapshot of it. So yes, I am a huge fan of Pinterest, more so than Twitter, even though I talk more about Twitter. But follow us on Pinterest if you don't already. And I'm so glad that you guys are onto this. So you guys are among that 20%. Yes.
Janelle, my mic is on now, and I wanted to say, actually, that is the way that these guys were sharing. That's how I got going in Pinterest. Is my wife and I were both teachers, obviously, and so she would share all kinds of stuff from the teaching profession there. So yeah, it's not just like you say, all girly stuff. It really is. You can share a ton of different things. So I confess I have a Pinterest account, my own.
Yeah, there's boards that I've seen that are just dedicated completely to apps or new social media tools or new, social technologies that are coming out. So it's not just all fashion, even though those aren't the obvious trends of Pinterest. The majority, yes, it's fashion or it's, building your home or remodeling or things like that. But there's just so many awesome ways you can go with Pinterest. You can pin basically anything as long as it's not on Facebook. So if you like something on Facebook, save it to your desktop and pin it yourself on Pinterest. So that's pretty much the gist of it, and it's a pretty cool site, and we're on board with it. So we're glad that you guys are too. And for all of you guys listening in the archive, get on Pinterest. So that's all with Be Social Media Savvy with me. So stay savvy, y'all.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
And anybody interested that's looking for us on Google, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, MCBS FS, Media Communication Bachelor of Science Full Sail. MCBS FS is generally the way you can find us just about everywhere. Janelle, how about a board dedicated to the MCBS Hour, and then we could post a pin for each one of our shows.
That's actually a great idea. I could definitely do that.
All right. Thank you for that look at Pinterest. I know it's exciting because that's what my wife does every evening when I'm not doing Pinterest. So I know she loves it. Oh, and that brings us to Tool Time.
Oh, yeah.
MCBS Ninja.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, don't stop. Keep going. Okay. Thank you, Robert. It's nice to be with you guys again today. In Tool Time this week, we've got sort of a theme, and it really comes from a discussion I was having with Jason this week, and Jason was saying that the Tool Time segments should definitely help and equip our students in MCBS to be sort of MCBS ninjas as they use these tools on their projects.
What?
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, we do. We want you guys to be total MCBS ninjas as you're doing your projects and using these tools. So we are committed to your success in that way. So let's go ahead and move ahead, and we'll show you some apps that you could possibly use while you're creating projects and needing content. And the first is going to be Find My Font. And this is a free app that's available at findmyfont.com. And you go in, and this is basically what the free interface looks like. There is a paid, but absolutely, as in most things, if it's free, it's me. So there you have it. On the interface here that you're looking at, I had put in a font called Journal du Soir. And so, Janelle, did I pronounce that right?
What are you talking about? Du Soir?
The Journal du Soir. It is du Soir, right? Okay.
Yeah.
See that? There you go. French kicking.
You're
in.
the one who's French.
I just didn't speak it much as a kid. But anyway,
Gotcha.
That's a whole nother episode. But you put the font in there. You just, that's a clipping, by the way, guys. That's not me typing in Journal du Soir. So it's just a clipping, and you put it in there, and then you go ahead and on the right where it says Match Fonts underneath that pink and green stuff, you just click it. And it starts finding all sorts of fonts and gives you the place where you can find them. Some are on DaFont, and other from libraries like Linotype, and so Adobe, and so on and so forth. So it finds the font for you, and you just go get it. So it's a great way when you need a font really quick, and you go, yeah, that font that's on this particular show or this particular logo. What is that font? And so it goes through and helps you find them. So a very useful little tool. It's free. Again, I hope you'll download that. And it's on findmyfont.com. So off we go to the next one. That's one of those super ninja. There you go. There's our ninja sound. The next one is CG Textures. CG Textures. Thank you, Robert, once again. And CG Textures is this kind of nobody really knows about this site. It's been around for so long, but they do Google ads. As you can see, I muted a Google ad that was up there when I took the screenshot. But this place has been around for years and years, and they have been amassing this huge repository of anything that's from textures to artistic pieces to ornaments and metal and marble and landscapes and you name it. There's smoke and fire and rust and all kinds of stuff. So how would you use a site like this? Well, go ahead and click, Jason. Let's say that you're there we go. Let's say your name is Janelle. Just randomly. I'm sorry, hashtag Janelle. And as Janelle, we know Janelle, and she has this love of doors. When she takes photos, she got some great photos of doors. And so, yes, there you go. Let's say she needs a rusty door for a Halloween thing that she's planning or something. And so she would just go, Janelle would go on the left side where it says doors. If you see that under textures and animals and bones and all that, you go down to doors, and there's all kinds of different doors. There's medieval doors, metal doors, big doors, double doors, yeah, and so on. So you would click on metal doors, and I chose single rusted because I figured that would be a great little scary door if you put it in a dark room. And there you have it. So if we click ahead to the next shot, you're going to go ahead and see that's not a bad size door. And yeah, there you go. The resolution is pretty good. So you can think of all the things you can find on this site. So cgtextures.com. This will also, as Jason goes ahead and clicks, our ninja should be coming. There he is. Okay, so this also helps you to become an MCBS. Yeah, MCBS ninja. As you saw, and we'll move to our next thing. Thank you, Jason. Is Symbaloo.com. And this is where I had CG textures in. Now you notice I've got a whole bunch of different things in my Symbaloo, things I needed to kind of access quickly, or other resources that I might use on occasion. I am revamping my whole Symbaloo, but Symbaloo is basically a replacement for your Google homepage, let's say. You can go ahead and put in these buttons that just click to links. All you do is they're very easy to set up. If you see the on the left side in the upper corner, there's a menu that you can drop down, and if you click on any of the empty spots, it will ask you if you want to put a button there, and then it just says, okay, what's the link, and you paste that in. And there's all sorts of pre-done artwork in case you don't want to create these yourself. What you're seeing in front of you is called a web mix. And a web mix are just a bunch of buttons that you put up there, sort of like the way you might use Digo or something like that, where you're collecting things. Well, you can collect links and whatnot here. You can also collect news stories. There's different ways you can use a Symbaloo page. I just encourage you guys to go and check it out. And you might want to just set up an account where you can go ahead and put these buttons in, and then at the click of a button, you're off to where you need to go on a daily basis. I do have one called Daily, a web mix called Daily, and it's the stuff I just need to access really fast every day. And so off you go, just one click of a button. It's almost sort of iPad-ish, right, or tablet-like, where it's just a button, click, and off you go. So that's Symbaloo, and pretty much that's going to round out our whole ninja theme this week. We're trying to assist you in becoming MCBS ninjas. So one more click, Jason, and I think that's our last screen. And yes, from Tool Time, actually it is. We hope you've enjoyed our ninja theme this week. So go be ninjas and let us know how you're using these apps if you are.
That is spectacular. Well done, Master Ninja.
Awesome. Thank you.
Before we move on, I would like to throw in my 2 cents on that Symbaloo. It's a spectacular app for group projects, as well, as I'm sure Janelle will tell you when you get to her class. These are shareable boards, and so if you're working on a project with a group of people and you want them to have access to the same web-based assets that you have access to, it's easy to create a board and then share it with 2 or 20 or 200 people.
I do have to say something, because Atticus is in my class this month, and I don't talk about Symbaloo because I don't like it. But I know Pete is a huge advocate for it. But yes, it is a great option. I do talk about Wigio or Wigio and Basecamp. But yes, Symbaloo is also a good idea. I just don't like it. That's just me being biased. Sorry, I had to put that in there. Continue.
No, it's quite all right that you're closed-minded about some aspects of technology.
Hey, I tried it. I really tried it. It wasn't working for me. So see, Atticus, feel free to try it.
Atticus, we hope that you see. See, we don't all have to agree on things, and the love just flows here in the MCBS office. So
it does.
We are, yes, vive la différence.
Oh, he has an account. Well, there you go. He already uses it.
Well,
awesome.
That is spectacular.
Oh, jeez.
I guess
Emily, are you catching this? It's between me and Janelle this week.
I know. I'm kind of ducking down here.
Oh, jeez. I'm not gonna talk anymore.
No, Janelle, keep going. We love it.
Funny.
Emily, if you could somehow have a third opinion.
Do you? Let's do it.
You know?
I love it.
I don't know. I'm just going to be Switzerland on this one.
There you go.
Good choice. Well, that brings us to basically the last segment of today's show, the MCBS Pulse. And this week, with Halloween a mere few weeks away, we've got some questions for you about costumes. And based on what's trending out in the world right now, we'd like to know what you think the most popular costume, and they do this vote every year, and they take a poll, and I don't know if it's Nielsen or who goes out and does that, but they find out what was the most popular costume of the year, and we'd like to know ahead of time what you think that's going to be. And on top of that, we'd also like to find out where you think those costumes are going to come from. It's a 2-question pulse. Hopefully by now Janelle has double-checked to make sure that my link works.
I'll check it right now.
Okay.
Just thinking that.
We've got... we'd like to hear not only what you think the most popular costume is going to be, but also where it's going to come from. Are they going to buy it on eBay, Craigslist? Are they going to go in person to a Halloween shop? Or are they going to piece it together from stuff they get at garage sales? There's no right answer until Halloween comes and goes, and then we'll have a correct answer, and we can see who was right and who was not so right.
Yeah, it's a good link.
Okay, excellent. And when she's done, she'll say,
boom.
Done. Put a fork in it. Which I guess we can do with the Media Communications BS Hour for this week. Put a fork in it, folks. It's done. We had a great time talking about Spider-Man and Freaks and Geeks and Kathy's Corner, ninjas and Pinterest. And now this spooky music just makes me want to log off and go home and get under the covers. Have an absolutely great week. I can't wait to hear all of you incredible CDs on the panel next week at this time. I'm so stoked to have the live and virtual studio audience here with us. Also spectacularly happy to have all of you listening to the archive.
Petite.
We will definitely talk to you guys next week.
Addams Family.